Shit, my brother.
Hey.
Yo, welcome back, Life After Baseball family. Today we're gonna be recapping this entire year, bro.
It's been a roller coaster. Lot of ups, lot of downs. Of course, more ups,
course,
than
that's a
downs.
fact.
Just kind of, I guess you would consider them growing pains. And there's always like this, what's the word for it? Like uncertainty.
Yeah.
When it comes to things.
100%.
I feel like that's what we had, but I think the best thing is that we just had each other and we trusted that at the end of the day we were gonna figure it out and make it happen. I mean, we were like 6 episodes in, like 6 episodes in.
Yeah, that's what we are.
A couple that haven't dropped yet, right? We got a couple fire ones coming for you guys.
Stuff in the clip.
But I mean, it's been one hell of a ride, bro.
That's a fact, yo. Just to start off, let's think about the fact that this is where we started everything, bro.
The stomping grounds, the OG.
The original first video, everything happened here, bro, to think about that.
And to
In
think, yeah.
July? August?
I think, you know what's crazy? Like, I feel like the beginning of the pod is a little bit of a blur to me because it's like, I had the idea and then it's like, I hit you up about it, and then you were like, yo, like, I'm 100% down. Next thing you know, we're sitting here shooting the first episode. And I remember you were like, man, and it was one of those things where it was an idea, and then you were like, bro, let's just shoot it in my crib. Like, I got the cameras, I got this, like, what's stopping us? And I was a little nervous. I was like, he's right. And we ended up shooting it, and I think we just did it ugly, right?
That's
We didn't. In the beginning, we were trying to make everything look perfect, and obviously because we have a vision, with the pod, and we wanted to look good for you guys as well. But we just sat a couple cameras down, figured it out, threw a couple mics on, and went from there. And I think that's just a lesson for everybody else, even ourselves. Like sometimes you have an idea, or actually I saw a post recently where it says the richest people are in the graveyard. And that's because like some people pass away with these great ideas, and they don't execute on them.
Yup.
Right? So it's one of those things where it's like we just executed, we did it ugly, we figured it out on the way. And I mean, now it just feels so surreal just kind of being back here.
That's a fact.
We've recorded at a couple, high-end studios. I mean, studios that some of the biggest celebrities that you guys love have recorded at.
That's
so
a fact.
it's just crazy to think that 6 months ago it was just an idea.
Coming back to here means so much to me, I feel like, is because it shows our level of confidence. It shows that because in the beginning, we were so worried of having the perfect setup, of having the mics right, of having the angle right, and having the lighting. Now that we've recorded with professional settings and everything like that, now we've gotten to the point we've become so comfortable. We'll shoot wherever and whenever. It don't even matter.
I gotta give credit to JP for that because I mean he'll set up the camera. I remember I think it was after one of the podcasts we shot and in Astoria, and he just set up a camera like literally right there on the sidewalk. And as people are walking by, like we're just shooting an episode, and it probably to the outside looking in looks crazy, but to us it was like, listen, this is just part of our journey, and one thing that you just got to do things uncomfortable.
What were some expectations that you had when you first came with the idea, or just even going forward after we shot the first episode? Like, what were some first expectations you had?
That's a great question. I think some expectations were that things are gonna go a lot smoother than they did, to be honest. As far as setting up, scheduling and things like that. But I guess that was just me being a little bit naive. I mean, I don't know if I would use the word naive, but being having a little bit of unrealistic expectations because things never go how you plan. Like it's rare that things ever go how you plan. So I think that was my biggest thing. Like everything was kind of going to go a lot more smoother than it did. But I'm curious to know, what are some expectations you had?
I'm not gonna lie. I thought that it was gonna have, not to say that it doesn't have traction, but a lot more traction because
I agree.
And I feel like that comes to the thing of, when you're the creator, you just think your product or whatever it is, it's the best thing out there. So it's just, it's not to say that what we have and what we're building isn't good, but we didn't put enough, I would say kind of marketing or just putting ourselves out there and getting videos out there and interacting with people and stuff like that. But that was kind of my biggest expectation. I thought we were going to have a lot more momentum, especially in the beginning as far as followers and everything is concerned. But, that's just that creator vision. Guide a conversation on camera in a specific time frame.
Yep. That's okay, at one point, where are we going to get into life after baseball? But there's, when we're in the heart of it, And it's easy to see when you're watching it, but when you're in the heart of actually like shooting the episode and the person's getting into their story, and then there's certain parts of their story that they haven't really shared, or they start to reminisce and they start to get excited about it, you don't want to stop them when they're talking
Hell
about
no,
that.
you
But you also have to be mindful. Okay, we only have a certain amount of time. We don't want to rush this, and there's just so much that goes into that.
That
so
is
much
a
that goes into
fact.
that.
And then it's like, yo, you can't cut them off when they lighten up like that. It's just bro,
yeah.
you crazy? It's like understanding how to work with people and our guests was also like a big portion. Like,
Yeah.
there were multiple scenarios and situations where Chris had to calm me down because of a guest, not working with our schedule. There were the times where I had to calm Chris down, and it's just like being able to understand and how to work with everyone's schedule. And with me specifically, this is my first year of becoming an entrepreneur. So a lot of what I had to learn was taking the emotion out of it. And Chris taught me that because in the beginning, especially when things wouldn't go our way, or just like it wouldn't, like, why are we making an excuse or this or that and the third? I would get emotional because it's just like, yo, that's disrespectful, this, that, and the third. And he's just like, you have to remove the emotion out of it because if not, you're going to cause a lot of problems. And funny enough, 2 weeks later, 3 weeks later, we have a situation flip where Chris is over here crashing out and he's on my phone. And I'm like, yo, bro, calm down. We're going to figure. So it's just like, it's been a hell of a ride. And it's just a bunch of stuff that I didn't even realize was going to just pop up. And just learning how to work with you and with someone in general. That's another portion of it.
And I think it's a balance thing, right? And even going to what you were speaking on before, that's why like I'm so grateful to have you as a co-host, because I just like when I was going through my little crash out, and the only reason why I was able to calm you down in that because I've been there before, and obviously we slip up, and then when situation happened where things didn't align, like a bunch of rescheduling, like it started to get super frustrating, especially when you make the time yourself with your busy schedule and things that you're trying to figure out, life happening, like just a bunch of stuff, right? And it was one of those things where once like JP was like, yo, bro, we're good. Like, I'm like, oh, okay. Like, cause I trust him so much. And it's like, yo, if he's saying that, all right, let me take a couple steps back and, kind of like I told you, take the emotion out of it.
Yep.
And I think one thing I learned a lot from you, and I give you a lot of credit on, is like, when it comes like the intro of the podcast, your cadence, how you speak, like even shout out to my guy Breeze, even he was like, yo, JP is so well spoken. I'm like, yo, it's such a skill that he has that like I don't want to say envy, but like I admire.
Right, that's like a better word.
It's a much better word, and it's inspiring how your cadence, your tone, like it's just so dope to see. So that's one thing that I learned just watching him, and I think. Because of the fact that we come from a baseball background and we're very team oriented.
Hey, there goes the dog.
And we got that mind.
Someone coming in.
And then we got that mind that very like-minded individuals. I think it's like that yin yang.
Yeah, I consider him my mentor. He is number one years ahead of me as far as this entrepreneurial thing is concerned. And he just has this way of looking at business that he breaks it down to where you understand it not only from a business aspect, but from a personal aspect, and you understand why other people might view it. Like he's very good at playing devil's advocate. Yeah. That's what it is. And like I love going to him, not even just for business advice, but personal advice. Like I've gone to him multiple times for like interpersonal stuff between me and my family, me and loved ones, just to get advice because he has a very good lens at looking at things from other perspectives. Another thing that I did learn from Chris too is doing stuff ugly and putting yourself out there. Like I used to have this thing of like perfection. I wanted to be so perfect. I'm meticulous when it comes to my work. So I'm thinking of the right angle. I'm thinking of the right line. I'm thinking about how is it going to look to the viewer? Is this going to convey the emotion that I want to give off?
I feel like we've all been there too.
Feel me? Especially when it's something you care about. So I'm so like that. Chris is very like, yo, fail forward. Let's go. Let's do it. Put yourself out there. Make the mistakes. There's no such thing as being ready. It's just do it, get it done. You're going to only show up to that level. So like I definitely learned that from Chris, and it's allowed me on my own personal entrepreneurial journey to be able to take a lot more risks. Just because you see how well we work together does not mean we have not bumped heads
Oh, yeah.
off camera. That's something that you guys need to also understand, and it comes from, number one, knowing that we're both high level individuals, that we're go get it done. And especially me, I'm a little bit more aggressive with it, where I don't find an excuse for anything. Like, for every excuse you throw at me, I'm gonna find a reason to kind of chop down whatever it is that you said. And it's good, but sometimes it's bad. But we've even had, moments where we've gone back and forth, but it's only been moments where it's iron sharpening iron type of thing.
Nothing less.
It's never been a sense of disrespect, or
that's a fact.
It's never been like, yo, bro, you're not working hard, or like, we're trying to diminish anybody. It's never been that. Anytime me and him have bumped heads, it's literally just been iron sharpening iron, to where I know he's right, but it's just like,
that's it. And
vice versa, to where it's just like, yo, he has a point, but it's just like, yo, you lucky that we taking emotion out of this, because, but that's why I'm so glad, like, the relationship that we have, because not everyone has, and I'm lucky enough to say that because I've seen other podcast relationships, or like whenever people are working in teams or groups, you tend to have friction at a certain time, especially like when it comes to opposing like viewpoints and everything. And that's one thing that I want to definitely credit the both of us, is that we're very good at conveying our words and how we're trying to get the point across without being disrespectful. And like trying to teach and show the other person the lens we're trying to talk from. You feel me?
It's never malicious.
No.
Like, it's never like, and that's one thing at the core. I think even in the beginning we spoke like, yo, if we ever bump heads, like, yo, we can speak about anything. Like,
that's
there's anything. And I feel like we've gone, those disagreements, I wouldn't even call them arguments, allow us to understand each other a little better. And that's when I think even one time I was like, yo, the approach, I get what you're saying. The approach is what threw me off.
Yes.
So now, so then it's more of like, okay, like I can hit some pressure points and get Cam to understand what I'm saying without him being defensive or saying something to make him defensive. And then from my perspective, yo, if JP's calling you out for something, take a step back. Don't get defensive. There's a reason he's doing that, because he wouldn't just do that just to do it.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
And that doesn't even help us just on the business and for the podcast. That helps us for life, because, not everyone is going to be able to communicate the way that we do. And like the days that I may come off abrasive and he's able to handle that and he's able to check me like, yo, bro, you're coming off a little abrasive. That helps me for someone who might not understand me the way Cam does.
Yeah, so true. So true.
That helps us down the road. About some of the things that this podcast has like allowed us to do and experience and everything like that. And we were talking about it before, and it's your favorite moment, but that Chop House, bro.
Oh, yeah, the Vanille Chop House.
And shout out to Joe, my brother Joe Raperti, Executive Chef Joe, for the hospitality, Vanille Chop House for everything. But
you gotta shout out JP though, because I know we did Zach, we did Jordan, and he was like, yo, we have to interview Joe. And I didn't know Joe, at all, trusting JP. And it's like, listen, if he wants to get him on the show, then he's a solid individual. And I mean, that's, to say the least. Joe, the hospitality, the type of person he is, the character, his story, I mean, everything in between. And it is, once again, one of my favorite moments. Like, I love to eat. And I mean, just to experience that type of dining.
Yes.
Like it wasn't, it's not the Shake Shack, it's not Chipotle.
Right.
It's very, very high quality. I consider it fine dining.
It is, 100%.
So once again, shout out to Joe.
We sat and watched him cook the food the first time. Chef's table.
Bro, like, just the experience. I mean, we went there 3 times, I think.
3 times, bro. To think that if we didn't do this podcast,
that would have never happened.
Never happened.
And it's one of those experiences for me, like, even the first time JP and I spoke about it, like, we were there, like, after hours, and, we stayed in, like, it was like, I believe it's called the Da Vinci Room.
Yes.
Like, it's like a private room, and just the experience was one of those things where it's like, how can we make this just a regular thing for us? And just it just exposes us more. And I feel like when you get exposed to more, it allows you to think bigger, and you just go harder in life, just in general with things.
Every single interview that we did was my favorite moment of the pod, because for me, it was just like the transference of energy and the transference of like that vibe and the mentalities
Yeah.
and sharing, you know, sharpening each other, you know, when we first interviewed Zach. And I want to give like a really, really big shout out to Zach, especially our very first guest, for him being one of the first people to, one, agree to it, believe in us without any like, no
no
background or
hesitation
anything.
or
He didn't
anything.
even think about it, and I hadn't spoken to Zach in years prior to it. He got us merchandise from his own pickleball company, Dapper Dink. Shout outs to them.
Dink.
But I really want to give a special shout out because with us not really knowing what we were gonna do, how we were gonna do it, not even knowing how to interview someone, because that was literally our first time interviewing someone. Like we didn't even interview anybody.
And that's
We
so
just-
crazy to think because like we never, well, outside of our episode, like we never interviewed anybody. We didn't even practice. Like the most that we did, I think we spoke to Zach on the phone, or I think he spoke to Zach just to kind of overview how we kind of wanted to go, and then just jumped right in there. And the crazy part is we did it at like a high end studio. Shout out to WTF Media Studios. I mean, I think recently they just had like a Kalani there.
Yeah, they did.
There was a few other, you know, high end people.
Angel Reese was there.
Angel
with
Reese was there.
Speedy. With Speedy.
Yeah, Speedy Mormon was there. So I mean, yeah, and these are some of the biggest names in the industry, you know, when it comes to, you know, journalism and podcasts and just sports in general. So to say that we shot our first episode with the guests there and the nerves that went into that, I mean, that was a crazy experience for me.
It was, bro.
And you know, shout out to Destiny, who was our engineer
Facts,
at
Destiny
WTF
Clo.
Media, you know, that she kind of, I wouldn't say guided us because we just kind of jumped in, but at the end she gave us a lot of feedback.
Yep.
And a lot of confidence to be like, yo, you guys, for this being your first podcast and first time doing something like this, you guys are pretty good. So,
Right.
you know, it just gave us that kind of stamp, like, listen, like we really got something good going. And we knew that, but it always feels good to hear it from people who are actually in that industry.
Our episode with Jordan, because
Yeah, I love that one.
the rawness that he came with that episode, and also, you know, from, you know, personally, I've always wanted to get around Jordan because I love the real estate stuff. So I've always told you, like, I want to tap in and get with Jordan so that I could get, you know, into his mentorship and everything like that. So to be able to finally meet him, talk to him, and then the sense of like brotherhood and the love he showed, like
that's my dog.
I see why you guys are so close, and then to understand his story and then to see where he's at, you understand why he's where he's at. Another one is my own personal story. This podcast gave me the ability to heal.
Oh, goosebumps. There's no better feeling than that. Like just feeling like a therapy session and I was super blessed to be able to be on the other side of that and to see firsthand, you know, how that was even tough for me a little bit because one, I mean, most guys know, well, most people know, especially close to me, that I deal with stuttering. So one, it was a little nerve-wracking, the fact that I didn't have anybody kind of helping me out with the questions. And then for me, it was like the most important podcast because I know that JP's never really told his story, and I want to make sure that he feels good about what he put out. And we always want to feel good about every episode, but for this one, it just meant a little bit more to me. Like, yo, you gotta do your thing with this one. You gotta show up, almost like a championship game. Like the other ones, you know, were like, you know, championship games, but this one was like the stakes.
Recently, me and Chris have shot our individual episodes, and up to that point, we've always done our interviews together.
Yeah.
And running it by ourselves is cool and like just having that conversation, but it is such a difference and a weight off the
it's just
shoulder
both of us.
when we are both there and having him back as the co-host and like there with me because he offers insight that I don't see.
Vice versa.
He keeps track of certain things. He has a way that he frames the question that I love. I have ways that I frame the question. It gives me a chance to be able to, we're all human. I might check out for like a minute to 30 seconds. You know, in the midst of the guest talking, I might check out and Chris is still locked in and he's on it with a question.
And
then
vice versa, bro.
I can pop back in.
I'm telling you, vice versa, that happens. And by checking out, it just means we may be stuck on a question that we want to ask, and then mindful of time. And then you're thinking about, okay, how much time? I got? Okay, I got to make sure we stay on time. He's talking about this. Next thing you know, a minute goes by, and you just kind of went blank a little bit. And that's when either me or when it happens to me, you'll pick that up, and then we'll just go back and forth. And you can't even tell when we do that.
Yeah.
We can tell sometimes.
Yeah, of course. We tell, but you'll never be able to tell. But it's just like, yo, having your co-host there, it really does make a difference. And I do want to shout out Cam for, letting me tell my story on the podcast. Like he said, that was my first time telling it. It healed such a big part of me. And like, I don't know if you can tell, I was able to notice and tell that now I walk with a different level of confidence.
You load off your shoulders.
I don't feel like I have something looming over me that can, come back to bite me in the end. And this is why it's so important to, when you're working as a team with the team, to understand the role that you play, to understand what you bring to the table,
For sure.
and to understand how you can maximize what you do versus what you don't bring to the table. There are many times where he puts up the finances and I'll pay him back, my portion in my hand. He's not tripping about it. But it's just, if it wasn't for Cam, there's a lot of the podcast studio episodes don't happen.
We would have figured it. I think
we would have figured it, but it's just like, as fast as it would have happened, but it's just having him there, we were able to do that. But now, since I can't always, be able to monetarily, like, yo, this week we have the pod, we're gonna put up the money. I can give you the money the week after.
Mm-hmm.
Now, where I come and do my part is the editing,
the
rolling out,
that's
everything.
One thing.
I make sure I take full control of that because I can't contribute all the time there. So I'm gonna become a demon with everything else that I'm doing. I know I can edit. I know I can post. I know I can do captions, all of that. Don't even worry about that. I'm gonna run that. Yeah, and then it's vice versa.
And I don't even want to cut you off, bro, but that, like, I need to give you your flowers on the editing. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, I could put the money up for the pod, but even like this episode that we're about to shoot right now, like, I don't really touch edits at all. That's outside of maybe posting stuff on like our TikTok, maybe on our Instagram stories. But JP runs the social medias. JP's he's going on Opus. He's editing the video, staying up late night. Things get messed up. He won't even tell me. And then there was a time, I think, with Joe's episode, he was like, yo, bro, this is a situation. But he was trying to figure it out, and he's, stressing himself out. So, like, I got to return, the favor and give you your flowers, bro, for just the time and stuff that you spend on editing, because that doesn't go unnoticed. He doesn't feel some type of way that that's his workload. I don't feel any type of way about that's my workload. At the end of the day, we're there for the team, right? The Life After Baseball team. And that's why, once again, like, I'm super grateful. I don't know. It's just so surreal that, like, we have a podcast and that, like, we're just doing it. I just want anybody watching this, like, if you have an idea, if you have, something that that you're extremely passionate about, and you can, find a little bit of funds to, do it, or just maybe go on YouTube or just throw your phone up. Like, just go ahead and do it. Especially, I know a lot of people I talk to, like, I would love to start a podcast. Yo, just start it. And figure it out from there. I mean, that's what we've done.
This first season, if you guys didn't understand or didn't catch the drift or the wind of the first season, this first season was all about entrepreneurs. Forward, though, we're starting season 2 come the new year. Now,
what we got for them?
What does season 2 look like? Season 2 is going to be very, very special, because I feel like it's going to be something that's going to touch the hearts and homes of a lot of people who play this game or who have played this game. And it's life after baseball, but staying in and around the game in a way that you can give back that's bigger than you. Whether that's being a coach, whether that's being a trainer, whether that's being
an agent.
Anything that you're still around the game that you love, making an impact. That's what we're focusing on this second season.
Yeah, so that first season, right, life after baseball, but after baseball, you're an entrepreneur, you're a business owner, you're doing some big things in the field there. But this one is life after baseball, but still sticking around baseball. We even have, I don't want to mention it, but we have a guy who he's not a pro baseball player, but he's around a lot of pro guys, and he has first like a first-hand view of, like, what big leaguers and things like that go through. Not sure how much he can share, on some of the behind-the-scenes stuff, but that one's gonna be a super exciting one.
We have a lot coming to you in 2026. If you thought 2025 was crazy and that we had some heavy hitters,
wait on it.
2026. We're going to be momentum heavy, and our guest, they're gonna pack a punch. But
Yeah, and also too, just to add to that as well, like we would love your feedback on like who
Yes.
maybe you guys would like to see on the podcast. Or
Comment
some other
below.
Stuff. Yeah, some other stuff you'd like to see. Like we're definitely gonna start vlogging a lot more as well. Like, you know, shout out to CJ at Turn 2 Fitness.
That's a fact.
Shout
We
out
didn't
to
even
the
get
home
into
team.
that. We
yeah,
didn't-
shout out to the home team, right? That's the spot out there in Maspeth, Queens. But CJ, he's been a huge part of my life and my development as not only a baseball player but as a man. But some of your favorite athletes, you know, he's trained. But he just had Jazz Chisholm from the Yankees hitting at his cage earlier today, or I believe that was yesterday.
Look at that.
But you know, just like you know, having people like that on. Vlogging, you know, going to games, right? The season starts
Yes,
in
that's
in
another
March,
thing we're gonna be doing,
You know, just
going
going
to
to games. You know, with either alumni of the pod or just a
Yep.
group of guys that are just embody life after baseball, just to kind of see things behind the scenes, have fun, right? I mean, at the end of
Yeah.
the day, like, yeah, it's cool to sit down and interview people and get their stories and see what they're doing after baseball, but it's also cool to just kind of have fun and, you know, go to games, or maybe, you know, we take a group of us and we go paintball and we vlog that. Like there's a bunch of things that we can do.
We want a way to connect with you guys, you know, where it's not just, oh, they're just talking and this. Like, no, like, we're a whole movement that you guys can connect to, that we're hosting events. And that's something that you're going to be, I want you guys to be on the lookout for.
Baseball
in the
camps
future.
we're going to be attending.
Camps, hosting
Showcases.
showcases, you know, drives and everything like that, giveaways,
That's a fact.
give
Yeah,
bags
that's
and
a
stuff of that nature, doing collaborations, even going to high school games. So all you high school kids out there that you guys you might want to make a name for yourself, whatever the case may be, we're going to be going to high school games, the
Man,
Monroe tournament. We're going to be
that's
going to the
good.
Monroe tournament. We're going to be going to Grand Street games. We're going to be going to Xavier games.
The
We're gonna be-
championships would be fire to go to PSAL.
we're going to go to the
Catholic school
PSAL
championship.
and the CHSAA Catholic School. We're going to visit both of our high schools
Yeah.
and go back to where we came from, and so you guys can see. So you're going to really get to see how to connect with us. You're really going to get to see that, like, we're going to take you through
behind the scenes.
behind the scenes, what it is to be a baseball player, just that life of being a high school. And we're going to get to relive it again and, you know, drop game on you guys. But it's just, you know, like Chris said, we're going to have fun with
I
it.
appreciate the people who have supported us,
Yes.
right? Whether
Yes.
you just like a video, you shared the video,
Commented,
you
subscribed,
subscribed. Right?
anything,
I
bro.
just want to shout out you,
Anything.
you know, you guys, because yeah, you know, the podcast is nothing without us, but it's nothing without
Without
you
you
guys
guys.
as well, because you guys are part of the Life After Baseball family. So definitely, you know, I appreciate you guys. You know, we appreciate you guys, and
Yes.
you know, looking forward to giving you guys a lot more insights, like, you know, we spoke about, and enjoy the process just as much as we enjoy shooting the podcast.
And make sure that you stay locked in with us, because you know that we're the only podcast out here who shows people like you how to go from dugouts to deals.
or from cleats to clients.